which makes it difficult. She's not able to work
Okay.
because of the anxiety, and she'll start crying, and it's just so.
Any panic attacks?
I'm sorry.
Any panic attacks?
Yeah. Well, I would say.
If I'm upset, like
Yeah. I mean, I would not full blown.
Okay.
Um.
More than anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when, like I said, when she feels overwhelmed or I'm trying to search for the word. She gets she's withdrawn
Okay.
and depressed because of her inability to, in my opinion, to function normally. I would say. Would you say that?
yeah.
Um, so she finds outlets to focus on.
Okay.
And she puts 100% of her time into that, and I believe that is sort of I'm not gonna say an scapegoat, but a mechanism to validate. Um, what she'll get into, like, just say reading and law.
Oh, okay.
Law.
Okay.
I mean, I'm talking law.
Okay.
And she'll
Okay.
be 100 and 1,000%
Okay.
dedicated to that.
Right.
Uh, um,
Would you say like almost like obsessively reading
Yes.
law? Okay.
yes. And the conversation to follow.
Okay.
So, no doubt that if I wasn't here and you two had a 15-minute conversation, that you would probably end up on that subject.
Yeah.
Okay. And she carries her to-go book bag with her. That's her.
Well, I am dealing with court issues too, so I always bring my documents with me
Okay.
as to
Yeah.
I may look, because if I run into anybody and then it's just like a protective measure, but it may seem like because at any point something can happen and I'm just like, let me make sure I have my ID, my court paperwork, or anything that can keep me out of trouble and keep them from having to bail me out worse than, that's a whole nother thing.
Similar to the doomsday preparation.
Yeah.
Mindset.
Okay. What kind of court involvement do you have right now? You don't have to go into like a whole lot of detail.
I mean, it's really like legal abuse, probably because I go into it. Just they got me as failure peers, bench warrants, and it's like a revolving door. I keep going in. I don't know if it's like a identity thing where it just can't get resolved.
Okay.
They're saying I'm at different addresses. So then when I'm trying to defend myself, I got citations saying I'm at 5 different addresses, but I go to court and then I'm getting arrested over it. And then it's been a year, like in a month, in August, it'll be a year that I've had a whole court case and nothing's happened. And he's even been there with me, and and then I have a bench warrant. Okay. So as soon as, and there's just no, and they'll ask me, and so there's a constant study of law just to understand what's going on, and then they'll ask me, and then I don't know, and I've tried to get counsel. I tried to request. There's forms in there, and I'm just like, I don't even have a right to counsel, and it's like unheard of, and it's like it may be something everybody ain't never seen, but it's happening.
Okay.
As to I can't get anything resolved, as to probably a little bit of my behavior too.
Okay. Well, I would understand that. So okay. All right.
My main concern is her inability to function as an adult in society.
Right.
She was staying with her mother.
Okay.
And there was a codependency situation between both of them.
Right.
She needed her mother. Her mother needed her.
Okay.
And to the degree that we had to separate them.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. So as a result of that,
Well, there was an eviction, and we actually had to go separate ways.
yeah, we had.
So it was
Okay.
as in my living situation, just so that's stated.
Is
Now-
she living with you?
No, she temporarily staying with her grandparents.
Okay.
She doesn't have a home of her own.
Okay. Gotcha.
So There was some legal stuff going on. I'm not sure, but nowhere to stay. So that in itself, is depressing too. So that weighs on her. She's dealing with the codependency separation deal. Just the other day, she was in tears. Her mom is experiencing some medical. She's in the hospital right now, so she's dealing with that.
Okay.
As her mom is dealing with the codependency thing too. So
She's hospitalized right now,
yeah,
so
they both. So it was pretty bad.
Okay.
So the reason that I'm kind of spearheading all of this to make sure that my daughter gets the care that she needs, because the system has sort of. There was a point, maybe I think after they lost their home, she kind of shut down, and I was really. I retired from the military, and I was really, part of my job was being responsible for several people, and I had to be aware. I had to know their family members. I had to, so I learned a lot, and I seen a lot of red flags, which at the time I didn't realize were red flags.
Right.
And I mean, I know people who have hung themselves, for less.
Right.
So about a month ago, she just went in this hole, didn't want to talk, and I was really concerned that she was embarking on that mindset, because there wasn't nothing else there was no light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So at that point is when I kind of stepped in and made sure she, because had I not, then you asked the wrong question and she's out of here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm here.
Okay. Any suicidal ideation now?
no,
Any past suicidal ideation?
no,
Any past suicide attempts?
no,
Not wanting to hurt anybody else?
no.
Okay. Have you ever been in treatment before?
No.
This is the first time?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll talk about that. Because people always have the wrong idea of what we do.
Yeah.
So that's okay. You mentioned the ADHD. Any other mental illnesses or disorders that run in the family?
No, I think the ADHD and depression and anxiety is at the forefront.
Any physical health issues that are going on with you right now?
I have this rash that's all over my whole body that I can't, doctors ain't calling me back on that. So I get real frustrated. It's like, I'd be walking out the door just because it just seems like nowhere I turn, like there's just nowhere to go. Like he has to drag me in here because if I try to get some assistance or something, it's like a door's getting slammed.
Okay.
Hello, I'm here. And so it's just like, and then that's probably why I'm closed off, because it's like you get a couple doors slammed in your face and can't progress anywhere. It's just like, but it's not to the point to where I have some type of kind of mindset like that.
I got you.
I'll go just read law.
Any dental issues? I know that's a weird question.
Yeah, I just had my crown just slipped. I call him back tomorrow.
3 weeks ago, so I'm gonna be dealing with that next.
Okay. So you mentioned a doctor. Do you have a regular doctor that you see?
I just got one.
I took her to a doctor a month ago. So she's unemployed. She doesn't have insurance.
Uh-huh.
So they gave her a primary care doctor.
Okay.
I think she's on a Ring Road. I can't remember her name.
Okay. So you still don't have insurance now?
I don't know what they gave me.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I believe she was getting insurance through the state.
Okay. So like that.
And yes,
Okay.
and then there was some legal issues that were unresolved,
Mhm.
and due to that, they canceled it.
Okay.
And when we went to see the care provider,
Mhm.
she went through the system again, and I think got it reinstated.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah, but I just didn't get any information about
She
it.
hadn't gotten
I used to
any
have passport,
Okay.
Yeah.
but then it was like because of like my legal arrest that they had me go through it, cut everything off, and then
Right.
because I was in there, I had to sign paperwork as to even that's embarrassing, even having to deal with that is attached to it. I'm like, just to go seek help and go to the doctor for this. I'm like,
Okay. Okay.
like I never thought I would have to sign a paper. No, I'm not get into it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just do thumbnail sketches today. We'll get into everything else later. So okay. Okay. Any hobbies besides reading law?
Music,
Music?
listen to music.
Anything else? I mean, that's enough.
Yeah.
And you live with your grandparents. Is that a house, apartment?
House.
House. And it's just the three of you there?
Right now, yeah.
Are you religious at all? Go to church regularly?
No, don't go to church. I mean, I read a lot about spirituality and
Okay.
different types of religions and stuff like that. So it's not always just law, but
Okay.
religious law too.
Gotcha.
I have an interest in religious law too.
Any allergies to anything?
In the process trying to figure
Whatever
that
that
out. But other than that, no.
Okay. And you're not taking any medication for
No.
anything right now, so okay. Okay. So I'm hearing the depression and I'm hearing the anxiety, obviously. Bipolar is something that I think we're going to have to kind of do some more assessing and get to know you and ask some more questions and stuff like that.
I told her that.
So yeah. So I'm okay. So let me back up just a little bit. Do you feel more comfortable talking to a man or a woman?
A
What's your
man.
preference? A man. Okay. Well, you're lucky because I'm the only guy here. All right. Okay. So, all right. Okay. So we're gonna have to do. So I'm one of the therapists that I'm always assessing. So as we're kind of talking, we'll get in. You'll say something. I'll go. When did you first
Right.
notice that? How long has that been going on? And because in the beginning, so far we spent 20 minutes back here, and I can't nail down your diagnosis in 20 minutes. I'm pretty good, but I'm not that good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be something that we're going to have to kind of just refine as we go along. So I'm going to start with anxiety. I'm going to start with depression, and then we'll just kind of work from there.
Okay.
Any history of abuse, trauma, anything that you've been through that you feel like was traumatic for you?
Outside of some of the stuff he probably did post-military, because like when they had that PS, whatever trauma they got, that's his own stuff. But he used to do some weird stuff like growing up as just daddy-daughter things, or just being hard, his OCD and stuff having to be in order, and just a military home, which is normal, but abnormal, whatever that comes with. Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
But we come from Fort Knox, so it's not it's not
I get it.
uncommon. Yeah.
I'm retired Air Force.
So.
Okay. Okay. So so what? Let's switch gears because we have the diagnosis that we're going to start with. We're going to talk about things, but we're going to do it on your schedule and on your time and when you're comfortable. I'm never going to push you to talk about something you're not ready to talk about. Okay. My job is not to judge you. My job is not to think you're a bad person. My job is not to push you in any direction. My job is to really kind of follow along where you lead because you're in charge in here, okay? In this building, what you want is the number one. That's what we work towards. If you feel like that door is being closed in your face like it has been everywhere else, I need you to let me know.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna open that door and we're gonna get rid of that barrier.
Okay.
My job is to remove barriers.
Okay.
So what idea or what thoughts do you have about therapy? What is it that you think that we're going to be doing? I get that response a lot.
I was just asking what the difference between a a psychiatrist and a therapy, so I ain't even got that far yet.
Okay. So, all right. So, psychiatrists. So there's many kind of different layers.
Mhm.
I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So
Okay.
we focus on the person in their environment and how you interact with your environment and all the pieces and parts that go with it.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So a psychiatrist focuses. They're a medical doctor, so they're focused on medications and they're focused on the neurology behind
Okay.
some basic things. So it's a
Okay.
very much medical, like
Okay.
here, take this pill and it will help with these things. My job is to kind of talk with you and kind of get you to look at things in a different way and to process things, because a lot of things come from the way that we think about them.
Mm.
A situation is, in my opinion, a situation is neither good nor bad. It just is. And so then we layer a judgment on it of it's bad. And when you're going through court stuff and you're looking at it and you're being treated the way that it sounds like you're being treated, there's no other way to look at it besides bad. But we can change that, and we can change the way that we look at it, and then change the way that we respond to it.
But see, and then not to cut you, but see, in my mind, I think how I respond to it is trying to be prepared as to just it comes off because it's just not it's not everybody's life as to just and just you being a male and then just I guess understanding probably the same thing a black male goes through walking through the neighborhood at night is just rolling around for women somehow, and I'm just the first one in line as to whatever may be going on as a false identity, whatever. And like now I got my incarceration paperwork as if you were to see just because it's just like I just need to be prepared as to just whatever is to get me to a safer ground as to just, but environment wise, like even when I got incarcerated at the Justice Center, they locked me up at the Justice Center in the middle of the falsely, and I had my citation, I had my protective order basically with me, and everybody in my environment as the it's and so to me therapy was like whatever I can get as to a middle ground as to being able just to communicate, because it just seems like as to me being withdrawn, as to me even explaining that and getting frustrated because it's just like nobody's in court with me every time I'm there as to what's going on, how I'm getting treated and stuff like that. And so then when I come home, talk about it, and then court is, what else could I die? Court is my life. They'll take my life. I can be put in jail forever. So what else is there to, as to me even thinking about therapy as to what we even discuss. We'll discuss it tomorrow. I'll be locked up. Not in a negative sense, but that's my reality. If I walk out of here, let me see, shrink a CRD. Oh, you got a warrant for a failure to appear. I just had one 30 days ago. Okay, well, you're still going to jail. Dad, can you come bail me out? I don't have no money. I mean, and then we'll be here to talk about it again. Repeat it until, because I'm trying to, and I'm not depressed about it. It's just like, let me figure something. I'm determined to just, I have determination. And so it's just,
and that's not a problem.
Yeah, and it's just like, whatever, I'm just going to overcome it. I'm going to beat it. I'm going to be prepared. And my environment just, it has me withdrawn. It looks, and I don't know what it is or what it looks. It's just different. I don't even know how to explain it. Okay. There's nothing else going on. That is my life. I got evicted. I'm homeless. Yeah. And they ain't sheltering me there. And they're not providing me there. And I'm at the hospital. And I'm just, it's just.
Well, one of the things that we also do here is we don't just provide medication and therapy. We have lots of other services. So as we kind of move along, we're going to kind of do case management. When you're ready and you say, yeah, I want to do that, we'll do support employment, which helps people find jobs. And so we kind of help people rebuild their entire lives.
And so that's the thing where I'm like, do you have an attorney? Because I'm like, when they ask me, can I work? I go get a job tomorrow and then get arrested tomorrow and get fired. So no, I can't work. And then they start asking me questions, and then I'm like irate about it because I'm like, what? No, I can't work. Do you think you could work? And I don't know how they're asking me the question from a therapist standpoint, or I don't know how. But I'm like, when it comes, no, I can't work.
Well, so therapy-wise, that's not.
I mean them. I mean whoever is at my environment's asking me, do you think you can work? As before we can get here, do you think we can? No, I can't. But when I say I gotta work, that don't mean you can't work. No, I can't. I don't have that. We're hard workers. Like we have signatures and that's just not how I wouldn't even start work like that with that going on, because I'm like, that's just not the record I would leave behind. I mean, I already have a case file I don't need to have, let alone unemployment, saying that I'm getting with a record there of me having legal issues. It's just not my standard. And so I'm like, no, I can't work.
Right.
And nobody's going to get that.
Okay.
Or my explanation of that.
Well, I get that. I mean, you're dealing with some other issues, and so some of this is going to come with time. And as we kind of work and we hopefully put things to bed and put things behind us, then we start building those things and we start kind of making that life that you want to live.
And then it's like hard, because it's like, then your social work, not to say y'all all are in the same, but even in Kentucky, I did a request for counsel as to even not to put an interference with this session or future sessions, as to even having state aid and legal issues, and having a request numerous times, like 3-4 times in the same case, as to even being here now and then not being negative about it, but just it interrupting my health or my mental state. Mm-hmm. And me being locked up, they don't have that, I don't know how it works in going to their medical field or how that would even work, but just starting something and just as to just whatever's going on. How do we even, me and you, how we even do that?
Yeah, so,
I mean, I'm not going into that, but I'm just like, how would we do that if I'm up front saying that that's what I'm going through, as to just like when we talk about, well, what's therapy going to be? Right. We're going to talk about this. I'm not going to rush you. I'm not going to rush you. Well, I'll be locked up probably. So it's like, no, you're not going to rush me, but how do we keep, as to like my thoughts even being here now is to just not being negative, but just hoping for the best, because I came, but it's still, and it's not fear, it's just the reality of just like, even for his sake, being here supporting me, that's still being an issue, and then gonna cause him to worry, and that's in the back of my mind too, as that always gonna be the focus point, and maybe an interruption as to what I say, because we go, and then it's gonna be, I'm gonna go backwards and probably be more irate as to when we had this session, I locked up and I can't come back. See my social worker, I'm gonna be upset, and then it's just like, this is.
Well, so let me ask you the question. If you do get locked up, we're going to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we need to do, therapy-wise, that's what we're going to do. Just so you're aware, everything that we talk about in here stays right in here. Mm-hmm. I do not and will not, unless you specifically tell me to, talk to parole, probation, mm-hmm. attorneys, anything like that. I have lots of people who are what we call justice involved, and mm-hmm. I have a lot of people who are in specialty court, mm-hmm. and I sit in the meetings down at the Justice Center, okay. and they get aggravated because they say, "Well, what did they talk about in session?" I'm like, "I'm not going to tell you that. That's not. You don't need to know that stuff." Okay. So I do not and will not talk with them, because you have to know that whatever you say stays right in this room and doesn't go anywhere else. Okay. So you don't have to worry about them having access to any, like the computer system, because we use what's called an EMAR, electronic medical record. When I put the note in for our today's session, they don't have access to that. And when they say, well, if you don't give us access to that, I'm going to get a subpoena. I'm like, well, happy hunting, have a good day, because it doesn't happen that way. Yeah. We as an organization and as a profession work very hard to keep your confidentiality private. I also don't have if you come in and say I had a TV, well, I do have a TV in here, but it's not hooked up to something. But if I had it hooked up to something, you go, hey, did you hear about that bank robbery this morning? Mm-hmm. That was me. I don't have a responsibility to call law enforcement. That's not my role. My role is your mental health. Okay. And I take that very seriously. Mm-hmm. When I tell my clients, you're the reason I'm here, I'm serious. Mm-hmm. You are the reason I'm doing this job. So you don't have to worry about anything, me going and talking to the justice at all. I don't want to. I'm more interested in you and getting you where you want to be. And there's going to be some hurdles. There's going to be some barriers that they're going to probably put in our way, that we're going to work through.
Right. And it's just more them interrupting with you putting into what you do.
I get that. And I do have some, specialty court is like drug court, mental health court, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes they have to serve sanctions. And I get notified that, hey, this person's going to serve a sanction for 7 days or whatever. So they're going to go to jail for 7 days. So I look and see if we have a session planned for that period of time.
Mhm.
And if we do, I go, okay, well, that's obviously canceled. And then I let them know, hey, when you get out, we're going to talk about all this. So we're going to pick up right where we left
Okay.
off, and we're going to figure out what we need to do moving forward. So
Okay.
it doesn't end therapy; it just puts it on hold for a
Okay.
minute, and then when you,
Well, I mean, but just hearing that prior to anything happening helps. So
okay, good.
that helps.
Thank
you.
That's
that
kind
helps.
of why I wanted to talk about that because
That
you
helps.
know people have a kind of a wrong idea, I think, about therapy a lot of times,
Just
and it's hard to come into a place.
Reassuring that, and then speaking to you, and just prior to anything happening, that makes me feel a little more safer, and
Yep.
that helps.
Good. So my job is to be on your side. I'm in your corner. Whatever decisions you make, I support 100%. If we have to make a decision about mental health or therapy or whatever, I'm going to give you all the options, and I'm going to give you my opinion. Like if I would do this one. But if you go, Brian, I've already done that. I don't want to do that. I want this one over here. Then that's what we're going to do because you are in charge. You have to understand that you're in control. I can't force you to do anything you don't want to do. I wouldn't even if I could. So it's a relationship and it's a partnership, and it's going to take a minute to get comfortable.
Okay.
I get that. In the beginning, you're gonna come in here and you're gonna go, well, I really don't have anything I want to talk about. So we'll spend 20, 30 minutes talking about just whatever you want to talk about, and then we'll cut it short, and that's okay because I want you to get used to coming in here and talking with me and getting comfortable, and it's going to take a while, and that's okay. We'll get there. And then the great thing is, and this always makes me laugh, when I have a client that comes in, they go, things are going okay, and I'm sorry I don't have a whole lot to talk about. And I'm like, that's the goal. That's the goal. Good job. That's
right.
So then we start talking about, moving things out and stuff like that. So it's going to be a process, and it's okay. We'll take it one step at a time, and everything in here, there's no trick questions, there's no hidden agenda, there's no nothing. If you want to know something, you just ask. And if you're like, hey, I'd like to see that, I'm going to show it to you. If you're like, hey, I'd like to have a copy of that, I'm going to print it out and we're going to give it to you. So everything is above board, and you are aware of everything going through the process. Okay. So I'm not here to trick you into anything.
Okay. That's what that. Let me be quiet now.
No, this is all about you. That's okay. Any other questions? Any other concerns?
No, that will start there as long as we can just continue to pick up where we left off, and I know that helps.
That's good.
It helps.
Do you all live here? Do you live here in town, in E-Town?
In Ronnieville, with my grandparents.
So I live here in town too. So there's a possibility that we could see each other, bump into each other out in town. If I see you, I'm gonna act like I don't know you.
Okay.
It's not me being rude. It's not me thinking that I'm better than you. I'm protecting your confidentiality. Because if you're with your family or whatever, and I walk up and I go, hey, how are you? They go, well, who's the old guy? And why is he talking to you? And then you go, well, that's my therapist. Well, you're in therapy. None of their business.
Okay.
If you wave to me, I'm gonna wave to you back. If you come over and you start talking to me, I'm gonna talk with you.
Okay.
You have to make that decision.
Okay.
So if you just kind of, because I have a couple of clients I see pretty regularly, and they just kind of ignore me, and I go right on about my business. I will tell you, when I'm focused and I'm in like Walmart and I'm going to buy something, I'm probably not going to recognize it's you anyway. So just keep that in mind. My son was in Walmart and he kept waving to me, and I was like, who is this guy? Why is he waving to me? And then I looked, I was like, oh crap. Like, hey, come here, man. So some of it may be unintentional, but I go on about my business.
Okay.
So I also will give each of you my business card. If you have a question, if you have a concern, my phone number's on there. Now, phone number, it comes up front, they take the message, and then after a session, I got to figure out and carve some time to make the phone call back. I have my email address on there. If you have a question or you have a concern, or hey, like, I want to talk about this next session, email comes right to me.
Okay.
So in between sessions, I take about 5 minutes and I just kind of shoot stuff back, or just even to let you know, hey, I'm working on that. Got it. Don't worry about it. That's probably the quickest way to get a hold of me.
Okay.
But if you want to talk with me, like on the phone, send me an email and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you. When you get a minute, call me.
Okay.
I will do that. I will go, okay, about noon, I'll have some time to call you. Okay. Or at 2:00, I've got a meeting, and I can spare about 10 minutes before that meeting. So I will let you know when I can call you back.
That got me a little outlet.
You do.
That got me a little outlet.
You do. So all this, none of this is about me, but I'm going to tell you why I do that. So years ago, when my last rotation in Afghanistan, I started having some problems and I went into therapy.
Mhm.
Here was the problem I noticed. I would walk out of my therapist's office and I would be like, I feel great, I feel good, I feel like I can handle everything. And then the next day, the whole world would kind of implode.
That's
And then I would be like, I got 2 weeks before I talk to my therapist.
okay.
If that happens, I want you to contact me because I don't want you to wait 2
Yeah.
weeks. I want you to, hey, let's work on that. 'Cause
That happens.
sometimes we gotta see it in the moment.
Know what you
So
No, I know
you
that
have
feeling.
access to me, and it's really, oddly enough, I have a couple of couple of clients that every once in a while they'll just send me an email and go, hey, you still checking your email? And I'm like, yes, and they're very happy with that. You have access. So, keep that in mind.
Got me an outlet.
Any other questions? Anything else I can address?
No, that's good.
Well, if you guys are like me about 5 minutes down the road, you'd be like, oh shit, send me an email.
No. You know I got my notebook, you number, and I'm gonna send you email.
Send me an email. So how often do you want to have sessions to start? I usually like to start weekly. Is that what you want to do?
What you think? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, weekly. Yeah,
Okay.
weekly.
So we'll go up front and we'll schedule some of those. Now I will tell you that my schedule here, because we had a couple of therapists move to part-time and then we had a couple leave. So my schedule's kind of packed for the next couple of weeks.
Mhm.
So it's going to be after that.
Okay.
So we'll schedule 3 or 4.
Okay.
And in between, if you're like, "Whoa," it's
Okay.
just a really crap email.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of figure out what we need to do from there. Because a lot of times, if somebody's really going through it, I'll tell them, all right, if you can get in here, I'll carve out some time. And so, yeah, so that's kind of where we are. And believe me, if I offer up my lunch, it's not going to hurt me. I'll be fine. So, okay. Any other questions? Any other concerns? Do you have any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay. Do you feel like this is going to be a positive?
Yeah.
Good
Be
so far?
positive. Yes.
All right, so I will get everything started. We'll assess as we kind of go along. I am not pushing medication, but how do you all feel about medication? Are you open to taking it? Or are you like, nope, I don't want it?
I mean,
What are you thinking?
we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Perfect answer. All right, so that's what
We'll talk about it.
Okay. I think that's about all I really need to get us going. So we'll go schedule those appointments and we'll kind of pick it up from there and we'll figure out what we need to do next.
Better already.
Okay. Good. Let me get you started.
I do. Thank you.
Email address is on the bottom. Neither Communicare nor my mom helped me with my initials, so it's J.S. Miller. Not representative, I promise.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Have a good day.
You too. So I'll walk you all out, let them know what we're going to do.
All right.
We'll pick it up from there. So, for the last 3 both of you, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Just holler at me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anytime. I'll
See you later.
Wait a minute, Amy's gonna schedule an appointment. She's gonna give you a card too. So.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
So I told her what I like to do is I like to schedule 3 or 4 appointments.
Mhm.
If you need to change them, change them.
Okay.
But that way they're already on my schedule.
Okay.
I can just move them around.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Give me the 2. I don't like doing too early. I think I like that better than a psychiatrist though. I think it made a therapist better than a therapist better than a psychiatrist. I think I like. Well, I mean, I'm just saying how.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So glad I have a habit of checking my
See, I knew you was gonna forget that. I seen that
I need
too.
therapy too.
I'll take it. I seen you do that too. I meant to say you forgot, I thought you did.
Hair is really growing.
I know, I need to figure it out when you do it. I need to go over there too. Do too.
What are you doing when you leave here?
Probably go see mom, so I'm right here.
After that?
I don't know.
Want me to
I
tell you?
need to talk to Crystal. Take what? What? Oh, thank you. Thank you. What you said, Eddie? You too.
So you want me to tell you?
Tell me what?
What you gonna do after that?
No, I said to do.
How about going to drop the car?
I was planning to do that too. I had to go talk to them. I was talking to them today because
What's that talk about?
I'm not her, Daddy.
Huh?
I'm not her.
Not who?
Mom. I'm not on the car, I'm not on anything. And then she just got hospitalized. So I just made sure the claim was in because she's hospitalized. I'm not her. I was going to talk to them, but I didn't want to go tell them her.
Did you tell the insurance people that?
No, that's what I'm going to. I didn't want to go tell her information until I just found out she's going to certainly get transferred. That's why I was like, well, I'm going to go up there now that I'm out here. But I'm not her to do it. You see what I'm saying?
Call them. They give you the number?
Yeah, I'm about to go over there and just let them know that she's did it. And if I could do, if we can go ahead and do it. But I'm just like, I'm not her to do it.
Well, let's go right now while I'm there.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on.